The Boeing 737 family is the world's most popular commercial aircraft family, with over 10,000 planes flying in more than 130 countries. In 2017, Boeing launched the 737 MAX, the latest generation packed with fuel-saving technology and modern design. Europe's biggest low-cost airline, Ryanair, took the MAX to the next level with the 737 MAX H200, a high-density version that fits nearly 200 passengers, making every flight ultra-efficient and affordable. With over 130 of these jets in their fleet, Ryanair is expanding across Europe whilst cutting costs and emissions. Today we are flying on board a Ryanair 737 MAX 8200 from Stansted to Dublin to see how this aircraft is to fly on what is notoriously one of the cheapest and probably one of the most uncomfortable airlines.
This is London Stansted Airport, which is located nowhere near London.
Here we go, it's Joel Cavalier here, and I'm here at London Stansted Airport, and today I'm flying on Ryanair's Boeing 737 MAX, or as they like to call it, the Boeing 737-8200. But the real purpose of this video is to, first of all, experience a Ryanair flight out of Stansted, as so many people do every single day, but also to take a look at the Boeing 737 MAX, or Boeing 737-8200 as they call it for some unknown reason, and see how it does compare to their standard 800 aircraft, which has been in operation for so long. So without further ado, let's get into today's trip report.
London Stansted Airport is the third busiest in London and the fourth busiest in the United Kingdom, handling around 27 to 30 million passengers per year and flying to over 180 destinations on board 22 different airlines. Ryanair reportedly fly over 4,000 flights from Stansted each month, with the airport being Ryanair's largest UK base, serving over 100 destinations. Probably the three most recognisable airlines at Stansted are Britain's three biggest budget airlines: EasyJet, Jet2 and of course Ryanair. You see all those Ryanair desks there? Well, other than for backdrop, they're effectively pointless, because if you don't check in online 2 hours before your scheduled departure, you get a £55 fine. It was then on to the security process at Stansted Airport, which is very busy but was split into a couple different lanes, so it passed by pretty quickly, I suppose. You're then through to the vast duty-free section before you go through to the main departure lounge. This is my least favourite bit of Stansted Airport. I think this is an absolute cesspit. I describe it as the living embodiment of hell. This airport, honestly, is one of my least favourite places on the planet. I know it sounds harsh, I know it sounds dramatic, but genuinely, it's just horrible. One thing Stansted Airport is not lacking is places to eat and shop. There are loads of restaurants and fast food places like the Camden Bar and Kitchen, Wetherspoons and Burger King. There's lots of shops like Boots, WH Smith and Hamleys, and there's plenty of cafes like Costa Pret and Itsu. As I had an hour or two to kill before my flight, I sat in Wetherspoons for a bit.
The Wetherspoons here is absolutely bloody massive. I've just spent about an hour in there, now I'm going to go move somewhere else, but it's a very nice place to spend a few hours if you can, get a meal there. It's like a whole, pub, it's alright. Anyway, let's head back out to the main departures lounge and find out some more information to see how near we are to boarding. I think we've probably got a bit to go, but let's go out anyway.
It's time to head to gate 47 for today's flight. The hours in Wetherspoons passed by extremely quickly, and before I knew it, it was time to head to our gate for today's flight.
Long walk to these gates. So there we are. Gate 47, and down there's our 737 MAX to take us to Dublin. Let's go on the plane. I am one of the last to get on the plane by accident. I think I probably should have walked a bit quicker to the gate. Whoops.
Today's aircraft is Echo India India Kilo November, a 0.8-year-old Boeing 737 MAX 8, originally delivered brand new to Ryanair in November 2024. I'm going to get into more specifics about the aircraft type later in this video, focusing on the Boeing 737 MAX 8 and in particular the MAX 8-200 variant. I'll explain what sets this version apart and why airlines like Ryanair have chosen it, and what these differences mean for passengers. Plus, I'll briefly touch on the aircraft's controversial past, including the crash incidents that brought the 737 MAX into the global spotlight and left it grounded for several years. All of that is coming up after departure. My seat for today's flight is 26F, a standard Ryanair seat.
You can't pay, I know you're paying that.
So on board the Ryanair Boeing 737 MAX 8, or whatever the hell they want to call it. Decent plane. It's a Ryanair plane. It's got, very little legroom, no seat pocket, and it's very crowded, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's only a year old. The window alignment is 10 out of 10, by the way.
So yeah, take the very best care of you.
It's time to push back from our gate and begin our journey. Here you can hear the fantastic CFM LEAP 1B engines on board the 737 MAX 8 starting up and kicking into action.
The life jackets are stowed in a pocket beneath your seat or in the panel above your head. If it's needed, remove the jacket from its packet and place it over your head. Bring the strap around your waist, clip at the front, and
As we were
secure
taxiing to
as
the runway,
shown.
we got a very important announcement from the captain unexpectedly.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking with an important announcement. Did you know that just 5.7% of people currently watching this video are subscribed to the channel? That leaves 94% of viewers not subscribed. Come on, do Joel a favor. Subscribe to the channel. It is the #1 way to show support to the channel. Your support means the world and it ensures that quality uploads continue into the future. Hit the red button down below. It's as simple as that. Now, let me figure out how to fly this thing.
With that important announcement and words of wisdom from the captain there, it's time for us to start our flight to Dublin. Let's get this flight on board the Ryanair Boeing 737 MAX 8-200 underway. As we start today's flight, let's go in for a bit of history and information about today's airline. Of course, Ryanair, as I've mentioned throughout this video. Europe's biggest low-cost carrier, famous for cheap tickets and no legroom. Started in 1984 with one tiny plane, now they've got over 500 Boeing 737s buzzing around Europe, including this shiny new MAX 8-200. They have some subsidiaries, Malta Air, Buzz Air, Ryanair UK and Lauda. They have several bases, including Dublin and London Stansted, plus airports miles away from actual cities. Paris Beauvais, Frankfurt Hahn, anyone? They fly to nearly 40 countries and carry more passengers than any other European airline, whether you like it or not. And of course there's the pretty bonkers CEO Michael O'Leary, who once said these things in an interview.
Did you really want to charge to use toilets on Ryanair planes? Yes or no?
Yes, but not because I want the money. We'll give the money away to charity. I want to get rid of we have 3 toilets. If I can get rid of the 2 toilets at the back of the planes, I can add 6 extra seats. With 6 extra seats, I can lower everybody's airfare by another 5% all year round.
Did you want to make some passengers stand on planes to fit more people in, a la the tube?
Yes.
How safe is that?
Very safe. Funny enough, what we wanted to do was to take out about the last 10 rows of seats. We guarantee that we'd have a standing cabin and a seated cabin. The seats would be €25, the standing cabin would be €1. I guarantee you we will fill the standing cabin first.
Ryanair is actually a very famous name on the Joel Travolino channel. 5 years ago I made this random song and started some beef with them at just 12 years old. No idea what I was thinking to this day.
Ryanair, Ryanair. Use a tom-tom sat-nav, I swear. You get on the plane, your legs fall off and the seat pocket's non-existent. You would actually think that this was all a joke.
Let's take a break from the facts, figures and digs at their CEO and have a look around the Ryanair seat product on the Boeing 737 MAX 8. The safety card is glued to the back of the seat as there's no seat pocket on a Ryanair plane, just to cut costs, you know, and the tray table was absolutely filthy. Ryanair's Boeing 737 MAX 8-200 offers a tight standard seat pitch of 28 to 29 inches, slimmer than rivals like EasyJet and Wizz Air, who usually offer around 29 to 30. However, if you want to grab an extra legroom seat such as rows 16 to 18 or the bulkhead, you'll get about 35 inches, so offering a more comfortable flying experience. However, this will come at an extra cost of about 11 to 33 pounds depending on the flight distance. Above the seat you've got lots of lights and air vents as you would expect. When I filmed this video I did not fully understand what the hell a Boeing 737 MAX 8-200 was, so here's a little bit of an explanation. Ryanair's fleet has long been dominated by the trusty Boeing 737-800, with over 400 of them in operation. As I explained at the start of this video, the 737 MAX series is Boeing's latest generation of the 737, designed with more fuel-efficient engines, improved aerodynamics, and remember, quieter operation. Within that series, the 737 MAX 8200 is a special high-density variant developed primarily for low-cost carriers like Ryanair. It's essentially a MAX 8 but configured to fit 197 passengers, more than the usual 178 to 189 in the standard MAX 8 or the older 738s. By adding an extra pair of emergency exits, Ryanair calls this plane the Gamechanger, highlighting its fuel savings and increased capacity. Interestingly, Ryanair tends to refer to the aircraft simply as the Boeing 737-8200, sometimes leaving out the MAX on marking materials, but it is still very much a MAX 8 underneath. This seems more like a branding choice to emphasise the aircraft's new compatibilities rather than to attempt to hide the MAX name. Of course, the 737 MAX was grounded worldwide in 2019 after two tragic crashes, the Ryanair and Ethiopian Airlines disasters, that were linked to a faulty MCAS flight control system. The grounding lasted for nearly 2 years while Boeing fixed the software and regulators demanded stricter pilot training. Most airlines communicated openly about the grounding and the changes, and Ryanair followed suit, resuming deliveries and operations of the 737 MAX 8-200 once the plane was cleared to fly again. Today, the 737 MAX 8-200 is a core part of Ryanair's fleet strategy, developing more seats per flight with better fuel efficiency. While some passengers may still have reservations about the MAX's name, Ryanair focus remains firmly on the aircraft's operational benefits rather than the past controversies. You should not fear flying on a Boeing 737 MAX at all. It is arguably one of the most safe aircraft in the sky due to all of its extra tests and processes. It is also an incredibly efficient aircraft, it is quiet and it is comfortable to fly on, perhaps not on Ryanair though. Speaking of Ryanair and comfort, let's go back to today's flight. I'm going to be completely honest with you, literally nothing else happened. There was a brief service, but I'd already eaten throughout the day, so I just sat back, relaxed and enjoyed the views, and before we knew it we were descending into Dublin. This flight was part of a big series I did where I flew 4 times in one day. The video of that full journey is on my channel and you can watch it after this one. For now though, it's time to descend and arrive into Dublin, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on today's flight. Flight with Ryanair on board their Boeing 737 MAX 8-200. My honest thoughts on this aircraft are that it does just feel like an average Boeing 737 with Ryanair. It definitely feels slightly more crammed however due to the intense amount of seats. The state of the aircraft wasn't exactly brilliant, it felt very dirty and the whole cabin makes it feel incredibly crowded. The sheer basicness of the seat is also a negative. It can be uncomfortable to have such little legroom and to have no seat pocket to keep your things in. The service on board was adequate, despite not getting anything, so therefore having no video of it, I could see that their menu was vast and contained lots of options. All of the complaints I'm making do however go out the window when I reveal that the price of today's flight was just £24, and you could not really expect much at all on a flight of just an hour's length for that price. More specifically, on the Boeing 737 MAX 8, the aircraft felt more pleasant than a 737-800 in general other than the crammed space because of the quieter engines and the aircraft being naturally newer. I will say though, going back on myself again, for an aircraft that is not even a year old, it did seem to feel pretty disgusting on board. However, you can't really help this as it's a busy airline that has just a 25-minute turnaround, so they don't do the thorough clean that you would expect on a more expensive and more organised airline, being completely brutally honest. We taxied to the gate and arrived in Dublin on time and deboarded the aircraft. It was a very simple arrivals process and we were in the main terminal in no time. That's a wrap on today's video from here in the studio. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. This has been a quick video on the Ryanair Boeing 737 MAX 8-200, what it means, what it's like to fly on, and how it compares to the 737-800. If you did enjoy this video, once again, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'd appreciate all the support. This review was a bit different to my usual ones, as it was part of a big series I did rather than specifically being filmed for this purpose, so it wasn't as much footage and stuff like that. But if you want to watch the full video on my channel, 4 flights in 1 day, you can watch it in the iCard up there. I'll see you all in a few weeks for the next upload. Thanks all for support, and I'll see you all then. Bye bye!